Same old story with Manchester United. Again. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pros and Cons with myself, Nick McCabe. This is Real Reds Talk, and we are discussing the positives and the negatives, mainly the negatives, of the game that we had yesterday, where it was 2-2, a point apiece between both teams. Back to the same old habits for Manchester United, same mistakes that we're seeing. We played a Spurs team who was missing about 5-6 of their key players, and we had a real opportunity to close a gap by 8 points to 5 points. Now it stays the same, and we've still got a little bit of a tricky run with a couple of Boga teams in that and kind of the next 5 games. So, unfortunately, many negatives to talk about. Yet again, a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of, just the future, where we're heading, what's going to happen under this new Ineos regime, what's going to happen with certain individual players, what's left to fight for now. I mean, it's just becoming draining, isn't it? I saw a stat, actually, just before we kick the positives off. The only positive after that game was the fact that we've only got 17 games left this season. That says it all, doesn't it? We'll just get into them. Let's go. Crosses and set pieces. We cannot either defend them or actually execute them. Any of them. Can't do any of them. We was hounding Chelsea for their set piece coach. Supposed to be one of the best in the business, and Eric Ramsey, right? I don't know the actual stat, but this is just a question for you. When was the last time we scored from a set piece? Put it in the comments section, because I genuinely cannot remember the last time we scored from a set piece. I can remember how many times we fucking fucked one up near the near post, about 100 times, or how many times we either play a short one and it leads to nothing, or the delivery's just been non-existent. We are Hermes when it comes to delivery. It's just awful on him, absolutely awful, and I don't know why. I don't get what it is. Is it a physicality issue? Is it a marking issue when we're trying to defend him? Is it the delivery, that as well? I think it's a combination of things, but it's something that adds to your game when you're trying to win competitions, and we're not good at him. We're really not good at him. We concede way too many goals in this fashion with crosses. That's a big, big worry. You can go back through every single game, and it's probably an issue in there, where we've conceded a goal at the back post or the near post. The set piece, Richarlison scores, gets back into it. I mean, he shouldn't be winning that header there. It's a decent header, but who's marking him? I'm pretty sure they hit the crossbar from a corner as well. So there's just flaws offensively and defensively when it comes to crosses and set pieces. Midfield runners. How many times have we said this? For anyone who's watched Pros and Cons or just watched any United channel on the planet or talked to any Manchester United fan, they know this season a lot of the goals we concede from not tracking runners. Christian Eriksen, for me, does not work as an 8. If you're going to play him as a 10 and drop Bruno, because he does not work as an 8. He's leaving Kobe Mainoo on his own because he doesn't have the physicality and the fitness to get back into position. So Kobe's trying to deal with multiple things at once. They go in, and I think it's the Bentancur goal. Yeah, the Bentancur goal, because obviously Richarlison scores from a corner. He goes in and rifles it in the top corner. If you look at the passing network as well, I'll put a stat up that you can see. I've done this with a couple of the games. Look at Spurs' in terms of, how structured they are, and then look at the state of ours. It's all over the place. It's freestyle. It's dragged left, right, centre. There's no cohesion. There's no chemistry. And then the sub kind of tips it for me, where you bring on Scott McTominay. You've got Casemiro sat on the bench, and you bring on McTominay. And then he misses that howler. And it's like, ugh, frustrating. Marcus Rashford still showing similar habits. Now, when I say this, what do I mean? I'm not even going to mention what I'm on about. Just think, write it down now. What am I talking about when I say Marcus Rashford, same old habits? You know exactly what it is. Decision making, running into blind alleys, not tracking back, just staying up the pitch, not clinical enough, not creative enough. When Marcus Rashford doesn't score goals, he does nothing. He does nothing. If Grealish's having a bad game, or Saka, or whoever it is, they will still put crosses into the box. They will still link up play. They will still feed balls in behind for the overlapping fullbacks. Marcus Rashford never, ever does this. And this is a question that you need to ask now. Is he good enough going forward to win serious competitions? I don't know. I also thought his celebration was a little bit, he's giving it all this and that and saying shh and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you have been way below par, mate. If people are criticising you for a good reason. Maybe do this back to back to back and start helping the team and scoring goals and getting assists, and then you can maybe give it a bit of that if you're scoring a derby or against Liverpool. But if you're doing it against Spurs when you've only scored 3 or 4 goals in the season, then what are you on about? What are you doing? I know he took his goal well, but apart from that, nothing. Champions League is now gone. I mean, it was probably... most people resided to the fact that we're not going to get it just off the sheer performances that we've been doing. We currently sit 8 points behind Arsenal in 4th, who still have a game in hand to play. And with every game, the club is we're just getting further away from it. We talk about 17 games left, right? We have to get the 70-point margin. You almost have to win every single game. And it's just not possible. It's just we could never string together. In fact, I would do something outrageous on a stream if we ever pulled a string of games this season together and won, 12, 13 in a row like we did when Hollywood came in. I'd be astonished, absolutely astonished. So basically, it's gone. Maybe we get Europa League if we're lucky, but European football, yeah, say goodbye to it. It's gone. Johnny Evans, defensive flair, had his worst game in the shirt against Tottenham yesterday. Was so bad. It looks like a bag of sand when he's exposed. Looks shaky, looks nervous, which isn't like him at all. It's some decisions, decision making in defensive positions was questionable. I know Bentancur was running at him like at pace, and he was a great finish, but just looked a little bit static there for me. And this is kind of the other side of the coin when, look, rightfully so, he's been praised for, coming in 35 years old. We've used him a lot more than what we should have done. And he's done a fantastic job, developed a little bit of a partnership with Varane. That's helped us to have, a little bit of consistency. But when we see that side of his game today, it just goes to show why he's not a long-term starter. That's why he has a one-year deal and why he couldn't find a club at the time. So let's not get ahead of ourselves there. And the last negative I'm going to talk about is Bruno Fernandes, because for me, this guy is way too inconsistent. I've sang his praises at times. He's dragged us through tough moments. He plays for the badge. He's... super consistent in terms of he's always available. He's never ever injured. He runs his fucking heart out for the club, and that helps to a certain degree. But when you're not performing at the level we expect, then it means absolutely nothing. And when he's moaning at players and giving them all this and saying, "Nah, why are you doing this?" Of course, it has a bad effect on players, because if I'm on that pitch at the time, I know you're supposed to be professional about it or whatever, but if I'm on that pitch at the time, I'm saying, what the fuck are you talking about? You've been just as shit as everyone else on this pitch, and you're trying to give it all that. Maybe you pull yourself together and pull the game together and lead by example. Passing was way off, not creating good chances. He's creating chances, but not good chances. No connection with the attackers. His positional discipline's all over the place, and he's not captain material for me. There is serious conversation to have about our best senior players at the club in Bruno Fernandes and Rashford, because I don't think we can win something at the very top of the game with these two in the team. Right, let's end with the positives then. There's only a couple, so we can get through these quickly. Leacher is back. That's a nice thing. Lisandro Martinez is back, especially like I've just been talking about Johnny Evans and how bad he was. It's nice to bring Lisandro back in and have that partnership that made us the best defence in the league last season, obviously without David De Gea. But Lisandro and Varane were really, really good. They complement each other good. We was instantly better as soon as he came on. Helps dramatically with the first phase build-up. I spoke about the partnership with Varane, the calmness and leadership of him as well. You can see he's the glue. He is the glue, and Ten Hag has obviously desperately missed him. He won't sit in public saying, like, oh, a lot of the reasons why we've done this and that is because Lisandro isn't here, but it is. He's his guy. He brought him in. He was his guy at Ajax, and he's the guy you can trust. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully he's back now, no more injuries, and let's just keep him fit for the rest of the season, because he's going to have a massive influence over the squad. Is Rasmus Højlund starting to find his feet? The finish for the goal, RVP style, absolute rocket into the top of the net in like the first 3 minutes, which started the game off really, really well. Only one shot in the whole game, by the way, and it was that goal that he scored, so that tells you more of a story. The assist for Marcus Rashford was really intelligent as well. Them two seem to have a bit of a relationship going on. I don't mean like at Hancock and that other missus, that Jean or whatever her name is. I just mean like on the connection on the pitch, they're doing well. For some reason, him and Garnacho aren't quite gelling. I think Garnacho's relatively greedy in certain situations. He wants to get on the score sheet, wants to get an assist. But he's striking a bit of a relationship with Rashford. The question is, how many would Rasmus have in a different team? I think he'd be scoring quite a few now. He'd at least have, 6, 7, 8 maybe in a team that's actually creating chances and has chemistry. Unfortunately for us this season, it's just been fucking way off. way off. And I think he also needs an experienced striker alongside him. And we spoke about in the stream yesterday about someone like a Benzema coming in. Now, obviously, wage-wise, it's ridiculous. It would never, ever happen. But someone of that ilk who's seasoned, won everything there is in the game pretty much, but still has that talent level as well where you can show you a thing or two. I think Rasmus needs that striker alongside him because he's come in as like a 20-year-old, as the main number 9 for a lot of money. There's going to be huge pressure. And I don't think necessarily he's crumbled to the pressure. I just think he needs time to adapt, and a seasoned striker to come in alongside him would be good. Conclusion. Probably what most fans expected going into this game. We're at a point where we needed to kick on. We needed to get a result against Spurs to close that gap. They was there for the taking, and we fluff our lines, and we do what we have been doing all season. The fact we have players coming back is nice, but is that relevant when the manager is playing the system? When you're leaving Marcus high up, when you're leaving Kobe exposed by playing Eriksen alongside him. But then what do? Do you play McTominay alongside him and it's just as bad? Like, it's a minefield. I really, really don't know. I'm hoping to see Casemiro and Kobe together as a long-term partnership. I think that would really, really work. But then again, the substitutions as well. We're asking for Casemiro to come on and he brings on McTominay. If you continue making these kind of decisions, you're going to lose silly games. And ultimately, that lies on the manager. Maybe we'll see more of a complete performance when all the players are back, but I'm not holding my breath because I know what these players are capable of. I saw them at the start of the season. I don't think it's going to dramatically change and we start, we're going to 10-win game spree and get back into the Champions League. I don't see that happening. I think the performances will increase maybe a percentage, 5-10%, but there's still habits within that team, quite a lot that need addressing, and that isn't done by just, 4 or 5 players coming back. I'm interested to see how we get on now. I think we've got Wolves next. Oh no, we've got FA Cup against Eastleigh on Newport, so that's kind of a tap-in. Don't know who's going to play in that game. Probably a strong team again. Then you've got Wolves, so not necessarily majorly tough games, but we've always struggled at Molineux. We can advance through in the FA Cup, which I'm sure will be a positive. And then we'll see where we're at, but. Yeah, it's disappointing again, isn't it? And it has been disappointing all season. I think we're going to be here again at the same point after the next Premier League game, probably discussing the same things. But that is life, unfortunately, as a Manchester United fan. Hey-ho. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. Make sure you smash a like in the video for us. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. And I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.